Do you remember that Jamie Oliver series about school dinners? The absolute rubbish served up to our kids by the dinner ladies. Turkey, Twizzlers and all sorts of other fried rubbish. Well, it turns out the packed lunches that kids go off to school with are often just as bad. Schools have started teaching parents how to actually pack a lunchbox after research found just 1 in 60 of the meals, that's right, 1 in 60 packed lunches are actually healthy. A study by Leeds University monitored 76 schools over a decade and found children eating jam sandwiches as their main meal, sausage rolls and chocolate, and frequently missed out on fruit and vegetables. Childhood obesity is fermenting problems for these youngsters that will only get worse as they get older. Being a chubby child all too often means an obesity life sentence. Now, in terms of adults, you and me, I think it's up to us what we do with our diet. I believe that the way to tackle obesity among grown-ups is information, not instruction. Let me tell you what I did. I cut the carbs. Sugar, bread, rice, potatoes, grains, pasta, fruit juice and beer. I lost 3 stone. Don't take my word for it. Cutting the carbohydrates has been the central plank of Dr. Michael Mosley's very successful books. Here's his latest, The Fast 800 Keto, highly recommended. How about Dr. Aseem Malhotra's POP diet, which is based on a Mediterranean diet? Fantastic stuff. And last but not least, the remarkable NHS GP and Mail columnist Dr. David Unwin, who has reversed the diabetes of countless patients and slimmed them down, again, by cutting the carbs. Now, obviously, do your own research and always consult your GP. But I stress what we need as adults is information, not instruction. We've had 2 years of being told what to do, and we suffered greatly, in my view, under the guise of public health. So we've had quite enough of being bossed around, thank you very much. But with kids, it's different. Parents, guardians and schools have a big influence over what our children eat. We have a duty of care to educate our children, nurture them, love them, challenge them, entertain them, clothe them, and yes, feed them. I'd like to see some of the millions spent by the NHS effectively facilitating lifestyle-related conditions and putting it into the prevention of childhood obesity. Perhaps make healthy food a bit cheaper. Teach kids properly how to cook real food at school. We used to call it home economics. It's now known as food tech. And rather than having KFC on speed dial, let's show youngsters how to boil an egg, how to fry a steak, how to grill chicken, how to boil broccoli. Kids probably don't know what broccoli is. There was no obesity in the 60s, 70s or 80s because sugar was a treat and people lived on a diet of real food and there was no snacking. 3 meals a day, and you remember the scolding you got from your mother if you spoiled your appetite by eating before dinner. And don't give me any of that guff about exercise and kids being more active. That is, of course, great for their mental and physical health. I encourage it, but you can't outrun a bad diet. It's what we're feeding kids that really matters. We mustn't let the junk food industry off the hook. In my view, children have suffered needlessly in the course of this pandemic with school closures, with playgrounds literally being bolted shut, and youngsters not even being able to see their friends. And it appears that another dreadful legacy of lockdown is an expanding waistline. So it's time to put children first again by making sure that every kid gets the best possible start in life by receiving a proper diet. The number of kids that go to school that haven't even had breakfast is a national tragedy. And I read of one primary school teacher who was reduced to tears when she looked at the contents of one particular lunchbox. Remember, this is a primary school kid. In the box was a can of Red Bull and a Kit Kat. Not only is that woefully inadequate and very unhealthy, well, it's bordering on child abuse. Let's have a national campaign to feed our kids properly. They are our future. Anyone who thinks it's acceptable for our children to continue getting fatter on a diet of joyless, processed foods will get a pizza my mind. They can burger off and get stuffed.